2008. It's the first in the South. The South Carolina Republican presidential candidates debate.
Welcome to Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Good evening. Here's the format for this debate. Each candidate will be asked a series of questions on foreign policy, and
Ronald Reagan.
Answers are limited to
Ronald Reagan.
If we decide that
the Reagan coalition
is required, that will be
the Reagan coalition.
We have green, yellow, and red lights to help the candidates keep track of their
Ronald Reagan.
And if an answer runs long, the candidates and everyone else will hear this sound.
Ronald Reagan.
Let's get started with Chris Wallace. Chris?
Thank you, Britt. Good evening, gentlemen. There are growing concerns that the country is headed for a recession.
Tax cutting has been part of the Bush program, the Reagan program. I would do that the way Ronald Reagan did it as president of the United States.
I'm proud to have been a member of the Reagan Revolution, a foot soldier.
Your advisor, Ed Rollins, recently said that the Reagan coalition of economic, social, and national security conservatives is gone, and you've been quoted as saying that you're not running for another Reagan term.
Well, I'm not sure anybody said we're not running for a Reagan term. I think I said I wasn't running for this president's third term because each of us have to distinguish ourselves. So let me correct you on that. That Reagan coalition, I was a part of it in 1979 in a lot of the evangelicals who became a part of helping Ronald Reagan to be elected.
Senator McCain, just a moment ago, you referred to yourself as a foot soldier in the Reagan Army, Reagan coalition.
I think in some respects that Reagan, but fundamentally also the Reagan Revolution.
But let me come back to your other question about Ronald Reagan, the great strength that Ronald Reagan brought to America, the Reagan coalition and the Reagan principles. Ronald Reagan said, we're going to have such a strong military, we'll outcompete the Soviets, and he did. He said we're going to have such strong families that the values of Americans will shine as an example, a shining city on a hill for the entire world to see, and he did that. And he also said we're going to have a strong economy, because he recognized that the only way we can have strong families that have good health care and schools and values and a strong military is if our economy is powerful.
Could I answer that?
Senator Thompson, a 30-second rebuttal,
Reagan,
sir.
Well, it's not a response. I mean, you asked a minute and a half question of these gentlemen on the Reagan Revolution. Could I address that?
Sure.
It's an important issue. On the one hand, you have the Reagan Revolution. On the other hand, you have the direction that Governor Huckabee would take us in. That's not the model of the Reagan coalition.
But I stayed faithful to the things that Ronald Reagan stayed faithful to. You know, if Ronald Reagan were running tonight, there'd be ads by the Club for Growth running against him because he raised taxes $1 billion in his first year as governor of California. It'd be $10 billion today. Reagan, Ronald Reagan, Ronald Reagan, Ronald Reagan. I work for Ronald Reagan. Ronald Reagan, Ronald Reagan, Ronald Reagan, Ronald Reagan, Ronald Reagan.
We all love Ronald Reagan.